Let me get.
You must... Nowhere? Never heard about it. Must be a shithole like no other. And I think I won't learn much about politics from you.
You know, people are talking about rising unrest in the north, and a secret coalition preparing a coup at the highest levels of power. And that whole plague thing is just a tool to reach their final goal. The Red Priests are also trying to get something out of it.
And to be honest, it's not gone too bad for them. The Druids are out of the picture already.
Well, sure. They want to establish a new order on our island. And it's not clear who's involved in the whole mess.
Maybe. Maybe our captain is even involved. Hell knows. They have their people everywhere. Damn it, you could be one of them too. Although when I look at you, I don't think so. You have such a stupid face. With all due respect, of course. Wait a minute. I'm not suggesting anything here. I'm just thinking out loud.
It doesn't make sense that the plague appeared just like that. Out of bloody nowhere? Hell no. It's a high-stakes game.
Power over us, of course. Over our bodies and souls. Over Avalon. Over the whole damn course of history.
That's the case. Those sons of bitches are good at hiding. They kinda blend in and live among us. It's hard to tell if it's hideous magic or some other tricks. You see? It takes one to know one. And that means we're just pawns. Folks like us won't change anything. But we have to talk out loud. It suits them when everyone keeps their mouth shut.
You know, I've been thinking lately. What if King Arthur is just a stupid fairy tale? What if the nobles and others involved in the whole conspiracy just made him up? And us peasants eventually just started to believe in it.
You know, one story for everyone. They drilled it into our heads, and drilled until it finally stuck. And then they built statues, wrote books, and everything else.
Yeah? Don't tell me you're one of those fools that think that the All-Mother exists. Have you ever seen her? How do you know that we're not being lied to?
Exactly. But maybe one day you'll see the truth.
You shouldn't be here. This is no place for the living. Poor sod. I pity you. I think my name was Mallory. I wandered in search of meaning, until one night, a very special dream came to me. In that dream, a beautiful, towering flower whispered to me, "You will find me, if you want me, in the garden." And so, I resolved to seek that place. This is what I found, from the rain to the gutter. I suppose it's what lies beyond those ever-watching, ever-listening doors. They wait for our next move. Soon, it will all be decided. When we finish our little conversation, all will be set in motion. To be honest, I fear there is no plan. Not just here, but in all things. It may well be the most terrifying vision, that we live in a world stripped of the forces that set things right when they go astray. A world where there is no hand to guide, no balance to restore. You should not ask me. The Druids created this place. They called it the Hall of Trials, as they sought to find a worthy pet for themselves. We all wanted to see the garden, to learn something from those cunning vermin. I doubt they expected such an outcome themselves. I cannot. I am bound to it for eternity. The slaughter has come to pass. A foul affair. Brutal beyond measure. Many lives reduced to one. Just me, all on my lonesome. Humans have a rather dreadful tendency to descend into madness, especially when forced to live among others in a cage like that one. You could try counting. I grew tired of that long ago. We slaughtered one another until, after countless hours, I awoke from the frenzy, only to find there was nobody left to kill. Poor Alice and Edan. Those were the last two I killed. Those two I remember most clearly. Their bodies lie somewhere over there. It's staggering, isn't it? How many good lives have been wasted in this wretched place. Perhaps we should finish our conversation. There's no point in dragging it out anymore. If I could ask you one thing, try. Just try. I truly wish to leave this place for good.
When be? Why is he not among us?
Good. Give me a moment to find the right song. I haven't lost my touch. Here, your friend will have a strong, beautiful heart. At least in terms of craftsmanship. The rest is up to you. The art is just an empty vessel. It needs to be filled to start beating. Life, of course. A heart must be full of life to start beating. But we'll talk about that when you return. Well, there are two ways. Through death, or through sacrifice. No, of course not. You can fill it with the life of creatures you kill, but it'll take some time. A life torn away is far less willing than a life freely given, and I can't say what effect it'll have on Bayo. It's not a method we use often. You can pour some of your own life into the art. It'll weaken you, sure, but I'd say some sacrifices are worth making. Besides, I believe it will give you another kind of strength, something far more valuable than what you've lost. Then he'll have a cold lump of steel in his chest. What do you think? If you want to fill it up with the energies of things you kill, just hold it up when you fight. It will collect life, and at some point, will give you a sign that it's beating again. Come to me and I'll bind life to the heart. If you decide to fill it with your own energy, just tell me. Either way, come back with either a full heart or when you make up your mind. Of course. This part never gets old. Remember, don't resist it. Let go of your instincts and focus on the heart. You'll feel a bit weak afterward, but don't worry. Strength can always be rebuilt. Here, feel how warm it is. It will serve Bayo well. Put that away before you regret it. What do you need? What? That's amazing. What materials did he use? What else was needed? Did he tell you how to make it? Oh my. I have so many questions. But those can wait. First things first. For this, I will need your help, my friend. Once more, as always. So, shall we begin? Okay then. Let's see if those Stone Warden legends have a grain of truth in them. I suppose that's it. Surprising how simple it is to look into someone's heart and tear it out, isn't it? It's different. Everything looks a bit like it's mired in fog. But I don't feel bad. In fact, I feel good. I feel stronger. I guess more will become clear with time. For now, I'll just have to wait and see. The measure of my debt to you is 2 hearts. I don't know how a man could ever repay something like that. I'll be going back to work. Visit me sometime. Don't be a stranger.
Beor's fully recovered. He's doing well and making his own decisions. He doesn't need an old man hovering over him anymore. And, well, to be honest, I've been waiting for this moment. I'm proud of him, but you didn't hear that from me. You've done right by me, so I'll give you some advice. This whole expedition is madness, but as they say, sometimes there's method in madness. And I'll admit, I'm glad these old bones can still be useful. I might not think much of our Lord, but I won't turn my back on him when he needs help. This isn't just about him. It's about our home. I'll do whatever I can for Kuanacht. Tell Yvain he can count on me, even if it's the last journey I'll ever take.
The less attention, the better.
What news? The people I told you about. Have any of them agreed to join me on the quest for the Holy Grail? Well done. Naturally, I would have preferred to bring them all, but 2 will make fine company. Perhaps along the way, we'll meet others willing to lend us their skills. After all, I can hardly believe you're the only one bold enough to roam the world in search for adventure. You've done me a great favor, so allow me to repay you. Before I depart, know this. You brought change to Connacht and earned my deepest gratitude. Let my repayment be the blessing my lineage received from King Arthur himself. Be the shield that watches over Connacht, as House Terion has done for generations.
I am his oath, the weight of duty that shields the faithful. I am the wall between order and ruin.
You can't just allow for things like that to happen. Not ever again. Not when the kingdom is beginning to find its way. You're the king, and that comes with a whole lot more responsibility. You can't let people like Merlin do what they want, even if their intentions are pure. You must see the danger now!
The memory of Seawall is my burden. Harder to bear than I'd like to admit. But I've realized that his story is what happens when power answers to no one.
Then do something so that a tragedy like that never happens again!
Palamedes, you've always spoken your mind, even when I didn't want to hear it. You've stood beside me through the darkest days and fought not for glory, but for Avalon and its people.
I have done only what I believe was right, nothing more.
Yes, and that made me realize that Merlin was wrong. The legacy I leave won't endure through the legend of a single man, whether it's me or anyone else. I decided to give my sword to the Horns of the South, to bind them not to me, but to the people. But Avalon needs more than that. It needs structures, memory, and resistance to corruption. It needs the foundation of something greater than any one of us.
A shield?
Yes. One to guard Avalon, even from itself. You've proven yourself time and again, so my shield is yours, Palamedes. Not just to wield, but to become. Let your bloodline anchor what my reign could not.
And you believe I am worthy of such a responsibility? I will not fail you, my king.
Don't carry this burden for me, Palamedes. You never have. Carry it for Avalon, and may your name be a blessing upon this land for generations to come. Isn't an object. It's the bloodline itself. But I also remember the shield was meant to resist. Not enemies, not blades, but corruption, compromise, cowardice. Palamedes understood that. Nothing I've seen here reminds me of him. Nothing resembles the kingdom we were trying to build. Lord Yvain, a joke of a man. A mere shadow of his ancestor. Not worthy of his title, nor of leading his people. I tried to build something lasting. Something that wouldn't depend on me to survive. I distributed power, tied it to oaths, not blood. Gave regions autonomy, left behind symbols to bind them. But what we've seen so far, that's not a kingdom. That's theater. People playing at being lords and commanders, taking on roles they don't even understand. All I've seen here is fear. Indecisive men wearing the mask of power. But their power comes from symbols they don't even understand. And when a decision needs to be made, they hesitate. When danger appears, they flinch. Denholm, commander of Camelot's forces, is incapable of acting without direct orders. Yvain, a descendant of Palamedes, yet too weak to stand against choices that harm his people. Their fear breeds indecision. If you cannot choose, you cannot protect. And if you cannot protect, Avalon rots. It was you the men here responded to, and you who rekindled it. You did all the work, turned the situation into something Yvain could exploit. Without that, Kuanacht would still be waiting. For what? A miracle? That's why I have to come back. Without us, without hands that act, this land just waits and rots. Merlin wanted me to become a symbol. But I realized that one person, one myth, won't be enough. This kingdom needed more. It needed to stand on stronger foundations. And so, I left mementos behind, to serve as cornerstones for various facets of the kingdom. It seems we were both wrong about this. Yes, the situation is complex, but that is precisely the burden of a leader. Complexity does not excuse paralysis, and yet they sit in deadlock, doing nothing, while the world around them fractures. Turn every resource toward understanding why the weirdness is returning and stopping it. Hiding in Camelot is cowardice. Staying here? Stupidity. But what I would do doesn't matter. This is precisely why Palamedes was made Avalon's shield. To judge for himself what serves the people. Even if it meant standing against me. We gave our people peace, but they've come to take it for granted. Perhaps those who live without struggle grow soft, and in comfort, they let go of their values. Symbols, without the will to uphold them, are little more than ornament. I named his bloodline the Shield of Kuanacht, and granted them dominion over this menhir, with full autonomy. The land here is among the richest in Avalon. This place was meant to stand as a counterweight to Camelot's rising power. Well, my friend, they still call me the once and future king. Still hold feasts in my name. Feasts won't save them, but action might. We've wasted enough time. Let's move to the Forlorn Swords and find my crown. Let's make me whole. It's the last hope for this wretched kingdom of ruin.
If I just stay put, everything will be just fine. Just passing through? Good. Just passing through? Good.
Are you sure you want to do this? You can still back out. Camelot will surely forgive you for this insubordination.
I have no other choice. I will either return with the Grail or die in the attempt. Nothing can change my mind.
Fine. Do as you will. I'll gladly hear people's reactions to their own lord abandoning them, especially now, when all hope is fading along with the Menhir. Don't say I didn't warn you. Look who woke up. You're a bit late, though. You missed the show. Our Lord gave a rousing speech to his subjects explaining why he's going to leave them in these dire times. I'll leave you two. I need to start cleaning up the mess you made, Yvain. And before I forget, some shady-looking character was looking for you. Didn't tell me his name, but said you're old friends. Said he'll wait nearby.
Greetings, friend of our house. What may I do for you today? Really? I hope he supports my decision to embark on the quest for the Holy Grail. Although, in truth, it doesn't really matter. I made my decision, and I'll stand by it. Whether my noble ancestor approves or not. Well, and now you are the shield of my people. I trust you will ensure that his blessing is not squandered. House Terion ends with me. Lady Maeve was never granted the chance to give me an heir. And I couldn't bring myself to take another wife or continue the lineage while the world I knew crumbled around me. But your words are kind. The story of my family began in glory, and in glory, it will end. As soon as the necessary preparations are complete, with any luck, it won't take much longer. Ansem will assume my duties in my absence. He is my most trusted man, and he is respected by the people. For now, he's assisting me in gathering supplies. I do not know when or if I will return. Kurnocht and its people must be ready for either eventuality. I cannot say for certain, but I have faith that Anselm will manage. Truth be told, he's been the one keeping things in order for quite some time now. Since Maeve's passing, I've been all too aware of how much I've neglected my responsibilities. Camelot will keep the peace in my stead, and I can only hope that the people of Kurnocht will come to trust Denholm and his men. We may not agree on every matter, but I cannot deny Denholm's honor. When I return, it will have to be enough. And so, I thank you once more. House Terion is... no, wait. I am personally deeply indebted to you. Because of your efforts, my family has the chance to reclaim the glory it once knew. Farewell.
Well, well, look at you. Moving along nicely, aren't we? You're piecing him back together faster than I expected. We're getting closer to the end. And since you've proven yourself so capable, maybe it's time. You should have enough power now to enter his mansion. Here, go to this place and see if the door opens for you. No. If you want to know the truth about the man pulling the strings, it's time you took a look behind the curtain. It's the house of someone I once called my employer, Orin. The same one whose plans got you out of the island asylum. I don't know. We stopped seeing eye to eye on certain things, and our relationship soured. No, not really. There's one last piece of Arthur's soul waiting for you. The third artifact. His crown, this time. You'll find it deep in the Forlorn Swords, in the capital city of Dalriata. Meet with Gerfan. He'll either attack you on sight, or explain everything patiently, depending on how he feels about... Oh, you'll see for yourself. How would I know? I'd say going into Dalriata territory is a surprise all on its own. But don't worry. They've got bigger problems at the moment than you sneaking off with their sacred helmet. Once you're done, meet me at the Charred Conclave. That's where we'll finish this, one way or another.
Nice to see you.
You're from outside, aren't you? Ugh, silly question. You don't look like anyone from the tribes. Tell me, do you know anything about One Eye? Where he's stationed now? Of course. I'm Olwyn of the Svein tribe, though I don't know if they'll let me keep that name after running away like this. But I don't care. My tribe isn't what it used to be. I doubt anyone's still alive anyway. I don't know if I can talk about it. It's still too raw, you know? Something terrible happened. Truly terrible. Our god, the Lord of the Hunt, he got out of wherever he was being kept. And then he did what gods like him do. He hunted. Faithful or not, it didn't matter. There was so much blood. I'm sorry. I can't talk about it. Even under normal circumstances, that would be risky. Our archers would drop you the moment you stepped on our land. I don't know how many are left, but if I were you, I'd go to Gurfhan first. He can give you a pass, so you can visit the tribes without, well, getting shot. So if you value your life, go to the capital first. After that, wander as much as you like. So, about One Eye. I think that's good news, right? I'm on my way to join him. After what happened here, in my tribe, the Svein, I'd rather die for something than die for nothing. Well, thank you for the information, and see you in better times.
Hello there, and sorry I haven't much time for chatter, I'm afraid. I was just about to set off again. I don't like traveling after nightfall. Gods know what slithers in the dark. Weirdness. Now that one's got a cruel appetite. Chews up lives like bread crusts. So best keep moving, right? Oh, of course. In all this hurry, I forgot my manners. My name is Fillmore. But do not call me a lady. Though, my father would probably prefer it that way. Some knights aren't too fond of having a woman among them. Yes, he's a bit, overprotective. Especially when it comes to the family name and what people say. He never made it to the Round Table himself, so he pinned his hopes on my brothers. One ended up as a bodyguard, the other took priestly vows. That left him bitterly disappointed, and, well, he didn't have much belief left in a daughter. Even if I've come much, much farther than they ever did. Why? I suppose I thought it would make me count. People notice a knight. They move aside when you pass. I read that even among the Knights of the Round Table, there were few women. Percival, for example. Oh, what a wonderful life she must have had. Forlorn swords. But, if you don't mind, I'd rather keep the purpose of my journey to myself for now. I'd hate to jinx it, having come this far already. The road to Burrow to Connacht wasn't easy, and there's still much ahead. Yes, I heard they're not really friendly to outsiders. But I've no intention of getting in anyone's way. I'll keep to the paths that seem long forgotten. Besides, I'm not exactly searching for something most folk would care about anyway. Thank you. Safe travels, kind wanderer.
I sensed your approach, my king. I, Gurfan of the Gunvaldir tribe, salute you as my forefathers decreed. Ah, so you're still speaking with your own voice. Good. At least I won't have to bother with that formal drivel Camelot loves so much. Tell me, how does it work with the two of you? Does the king speak through you sometimes? Or is he just a passenger in your head? Will he ever come out and talk to me face to face? Or does he just sit there quietly, never getting involved? Either way, I've got a few things to say to him. Not exactly polite ones. Ah, so he won't be speaking. Still too weak, is he? Not surprising. Well, then give my regards to the old man. Tell him the Gunvaldir tribe stayed loyal to the old treaties right to the end. The same can't be said of the Camelocians. A pack of cowardly dogs without honor. I hope Arthur's squirming in your head, seeing what his beloved capital has been up to. Normal ones, honorable. He entrusted us with the forlorn swords and his crown, the one he used to command giants. We were sworn to guard them. In return, Camelot was supposed to leave us alone, now and forever. But the Camelocians didn't hold up their end of the deal. May their souls rot in the weirdness. Can you hear me, Arthur? The treaty is rubbish. I'm rallying the tribes, and we're marching on Camelot. Nothing can stop us anymore. Except ourselves, damn it. Why? He's barely gotten his life back, and not even all of it. Does he have a death wish or something? There's a passage, sure. And if you're Arthur, it will open for you. Go ahead, if you think you're strong enough. Nobody's gonna stop you. But let me warn you, it's not going to be an easy journey, or a short one. Well, the giants are asleep, at least on the surface. But below, what if they wake up when they see Arthur? I doubt they'll be happy. And if the giants weren't enough, there are still the monsters, and other surprises. The legends about this place make it all pretty clear. If I were you, I wouldn't go in there. At least, not until you're sure you have the strength to handle what's hiding inside. Or without the blessing of the tribes, as agreed 600 years ago. You'd know that if you remembered our agreements, Arthur. Yes, the funny thing about our king, as you may already know, was that he was pretty sure of himself and his abilities. He knew he could march in there, grab his crown whenever he wanted, so he didn't sweat when he made a deal with our ancestors. He said he'd come back for his royal hat, only if the kingdom was in a dire situation, and if all tribes agreed to let him. Traditionally, this was meant to be done during a moot, an assembly of the tribes, and I'm calling one, so we can help each other out, if you're up for it. Well, I need the chieftains to come here because we have to agree on a united front if we're going to fight Camelot. And I want to make damn sure that we fight Camelot not as a solitary tribe, like hot-headed One-Eye once, but as a united force. But I'm worried that something might be keeping them from leaving their villages. I'd like you to look into it. They won't. Our tribes aren't exactly known for getting along, and gathering them all in one place at the same time. That's almost a miracle. But now they've left Gunvaldir in its time of need, and they're ashamed. And that's even worse. That's why you have to shame them even more, so that they have no choice but to come here or risk their honor. And if they say they won't come because, then you'll deal with a because, right? After all, you're the king, aren't you? Exactly. There's only one sane course of action, but you do you. I'll be waiting. I'm not going anywhere. As a gunvelder, I've got nowhere to go anyway. An eye for an eye. There's no other way. Does that surprise you? I was the one who honored the old treaties Camelot violated. I was the one who tried to convince One Eye not to throw people into guerrilla warfare, but to organize a proper military campaign instead. But for that, I'd need united tribes. And getting us all to work together on our own turf? That's proven to be exceptionally difficult. If you ask me, I got scared. The giant in our village started glowing. Maybe waking up, maybe coming alive. Whatever it is giants do. We were glad, though the other tribes, not so much. They envied us, no doubt about that. And that's probably why they didn't lift a finger to help when Camelot invaded our lands. Us, the Dalrita, we have changed. We're a shadow of our ancestors. But we were not the first to raise our weapons. Well, you see, the giants for us are a bit like gods. We call them our protectors. It's a tradition dating back to the battles of the Age of Legends. The Dalrita befriended the giants long before Arthur ever did. There was peace between us, even when we stood on opposite sides of the war. We honor them because we believe that when they awaken, they will repay our care with their protection. It's good to have allies like them. King Arthur! His presence clings to you like a shadow, unmistakable to those who still remember him. Your words, your actions, they carry the weight of him. The way you stand, even your damn stubbornness. Arthur always left his mark on those he touched. The Gunvelder haven't forgotten. Betrayed by Camelot or not, our blood still remembers the old king. But don't mistake my recognition for trust. If Arthur truly walks with you, prove it. Show me his legacy still lives and breathes. What can I tell you? We're gone. Only a few of us are left, scattered across all of Avalon. I'm still here, and so is One Eye. He's convinced he can take Camelot with a handful of hot-headed youngsters. Foolish dreams, suicide, call it what you like. We were brave, proud, and deeply connected to nature. Each of us bonded our soul to an animal, sharing strength between us. I won't tell you more than that. I don't want to. I can't. All of this is still too fresh for me, too raw. As of now, 4. The Volker, the Svein, the Ulfra, and the Toid. Each one with its role, each one with its problems. The Ulfra are warriors, the best of us. Or they were. They've gone silent. No word from their chieftain, no sign of life near the haunted keep. I fear what might have befallen him. The Svein are hunters and guardians of something ancient, what they call a god. Forest devilry, if you ask me. Dangerous enough for us to keep our distance. Mages, clever but strange. Their power is real, but their methods, unsettling. They see the world differently. Useful in a fight, but don't expect to understand them. Still, strength is strength, even if it's wrapped in riddles and sparkles. The Volker were our berserkers, Mather's chosen warriors, unstoppable in battle. But Mather abandoned them, or so they believe. Now their rage is dulled, and they're slipping into despair. If we don't reignite their spirits, we risk losing them entirely. Each tribe carries a part of our legacy. If we are to stand together again, we'll need them all, even the ones who've lost their way. Yes? Who have you managed to convince?
his burden, the man beneath the myth. I am the face that time forgot, the name that was never enough.
First, you used these people to win yourself a kingdom, and now you herded them here under threat of being stomped to death by giants if they leave or disobey. After all that they've gone through, all that they've done, all that they've suffered, this is how you intend to repay them?
No kingdom will stand with people like them within its borders. They would have to change their ways. The Del Rita are not ready for this. You know this.
You did worse than all of them combined, and you are the one responsible for all they've done so far. They fought for your name and under your banners. Does this mean you're not fit to be a king? Not ready to have a kingdom?
I left the heritage of Pendragon behind me. I severed the ties between myself and my tribe. I lost all that tied me to the past when I became king. I set a new path for myself. They are not ready to do that.
Bullshit! You forced them to go against their sacred traditions. You destroyed their identities. They betrayed their comrades because you ordered them to. They kidnapped the children of the giants because you told them to do it. Everything they did was so that you could win this war. And now what? You're going to punish them for being your best, fiercest soldiers, most loyal of your men?
This is not...
Oh, stop with your excuses already! You broke them, and now you're abandoning them to starve or freeze to death in these damned lands.
This kingdom needs to be built on peace, Caradoc. Letting them live among merchants, lords, and ladies in Camelot or Timberwall. How would that go?
Exactly as anyone would expect it to go.
So we would end up with a civil war. Right after we won the war that almost annihilated us all.
Oh, damn you. I've had enough. I stood by you through everything. Even what you did to me. To Seawall. I let it all slide. I told myself it was for something. For a noble cause. But this is where I draw the line. I renounce my oaths, and I'm walking away. Put a blade in my back if that helps you sleep. I don't care. Not anymore.
Now I remember it all. I left the best of my people here. I betrayed their loyalty. And for what? Everything. This land, it had a glorious past. But it has no future. There is no way to save it. And what if my decision cost them the ability to grow? What if instead of helping them become better, I forced them to stay set in their ways? I may have been right about the diagnosis. But now I see that I could have been wrong about the cure. The tribes helped us win the war. They were fearless and followed every order. They were the most loyal of all. But I left them broken. And after the war, their bloodlust was insatiable. I had to do something. This felt like the only choice. The giants sided with our enemy. We had to find a way to remove them from the equation. So, under cover of night, the tribes stole their children. I told the giants their offspring were our hostages, and that we would slaughter them if they refused to bend the knee. One of the most humiliating moments of that whole war, both for me and for the Del Rita. Caradoc had the clearest eyes of any of us. He saw things for what they were. And I think I destroyed that. Destroyed him with all I did. I turned him into this. And now he's only a shadow of the man I once knew. He used to carry hope. Now all he carries is vengeance. I come from the Pendragon bloodline, a heritage drenched in as much blood as that of the Del Rita. A heritage that pillaged and fought in the homelands for longer than anyone can remember, and unable to build anything that withstood the test of time. I decided to leave it behind me when we won the war against the Four-Dwellers, and built our kingdom on Avalon on stronger foundations. Now we've seen that my bloodline must have been cursed. There's nothing left. Nothing worth saving. Nothing worth rebuilding. I gave everything I had to this land. My blood, my soul, my name. And the land devoured it all. I betrayed the ones who believed in me. I cut down the men who fought for me. I turned away from my own blood to build something better. And all I built was another ruin. I thought I was forging a future. I was just extending the fall. Do what you want. There's nothing about this land that I recognize anymore. All I've ever done got turned into dust, corrupted against my intentions, destroyed. Why bother? Once and future king, you return. Speak your will through the mortal you now inhabit. Is it time for us to awaken? The Del Rita have long been our allies. Through their eyes, we have watched your kingdom fall into corruption. Camelot will fall. Your will shall be done.